Hello, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. My name is Laura Chung. I am an author, Reiki master, podcast host, healer, and astrologer. And I felt like today I needed to reintroduce myself because there are new people watching. So remember to share, like, and subscribe. This is your free 40-day journey here on YouTube. We are doing the 40-day How to Manifest journey. This is the book that I wrote that came out last year in September 2022. And we are on day 19. We're almost halfway through the journey. Today is February 8th, 2023. And yeah, I'm so glad to have you here. Just as a review, yesterday was day 18. We talked about shadow work, and today we are talking about fear setting. And just to really review, we're on week 3, which is all about healing your beliefs. But just as we do every day, I'm going to pull a card from the tarot to check in on our collective energy. So what does Spirit want us to know? Yesterday, we got the 9 of Cups. So dreams being manifest, Venus being in Pisces is such a lovely energy. And today we have the 7 of Materials. And I'm actually going to read from the book because the way that this author uses like poetry and words, like Chris Ann is like some kind of word witch. It's like so healing. So 7 of Pentacles or Materials. And I feel like this goes really well with where we kind of are collectively with our energy. Okay, here we go. So the key words are a pause, assessing your progress, perseverance, the long game, investment, manifesting for the future, gratitude, diligence, prompt, a sacred plateau. In any journey, there are moments meant for rethinking, reestablishing, and redirecting. Stepping onto her timeline, she waits patiently, poised to reap the rewards she sowed in the past. And she knows they are almost ready. Her gut tells her, her hands weary from toil to tell her. Her heart tells her she knows. In the lucidity of the pause, she realizes that her lace has come undone. She ties it slowly, knowing it would have tripped her up in the future had she not taken notice now. She's grateful, graceful, mindful, and she's moving through the reverberations of yesterday's thoughts and actions while sending out tomorrow's reality with love, energy, and intention. She invites you to step into the liminal space with her. This plateau serves as a beautiful break to breathe and take stock. You've come so far, and your beautiful roses are almost there. When the muse pauses your timeline, relax. When she slows the clock, wait for her. When she disappears from sight, revel in all the creation to come. Isn't this so much nicer than what most people equate the 7 of Materials to be, which is like frustration, like where are my manifestations? Why isn't it coming? What's taking so long? I just love the way this author like makes these messages like poetry. And it is true. Like we all get on that. I mean, we're on day 19, so we're almost halfway there. And we get to a point in every journey, manifestation journey, where we might hit a plateau or things aren't happening when we want them to. And then this is where people lose hope, because you want to see the physical evidence of it. But the whole point of doing all of these exercises every day is to believe and have faith and feel it before you see it physically. And this is why we do this work together, so that we remind each other of our manifestations and what it is that we want to call in. So with that being said, today is day 19, fear setting. Never say never, because limits like fears are often just an illusion. Michael Jordan at the NBA Hall of Fame induction. Never say never, because limits like fears are often just an illusion. Today, we will continue to turn toward our anxieties instead of running away. Give yourself a moment of grace for continuing on this journey in spite of the discomfort you may feel. Remember that you are ultimately treating yourself with kindness by opening yourself up to the possibility of successful manifestation. So keep that in mind as we talk about another potentially painful subject today: fear. Writing a book has always been on my list of things I wanted to manifest, but when I finally got the offer, I was crippled with fear. I'm the first person in my family who is a published author, a daughter of immigrants whose first language is not in English. My parents learned English in school, but just as any English-speaking Americans learn Spanish in school, it's a whole other story when you have to speak a second language fluently. My parents did not go to college in America. When they immigrated, they learned English by living here, a crash course in immersive learning. They watched television and learned along the way. Pretty badass, if you ask me. When my family moved to the suburbs of New York, I started first grade in a new school and they put me in ESL, English as a second language. Granted, English was not my first language, but they assumed I didn't speak English fluently based on my ethnicity. Anyways, the teachers eventually realized that I could speak English, so they quickly pulled me out of ESL. This mistake on the part of an administration happened because they made assumptions about me. But because by then I had heard from teachers that I was not proficient in the English language, that fact imprinted on my mind. I extended this belief to my parents, who speak English with an Asian accent and have trouble pronouncing words like capacity. My mom pronounces it like capacity. God bless them. I had to work through my fears and doubts about my fluency in English. Going into academia helped. Having to write a lengthy research paper helped for my master's thesis. Having a blog for over 10 years helped. Being a voracious reader certainly helped. You will never be fearless because fear is a necessary and natural feeling. The way to overcome it is by doing. When my clients are crippled by anxiety and cannot seem to take action, I ask them to either tell me all their fears or write them down. I want to know what they are afraid of and why. I learned this practice from author Tim Ferriss. Instead of goal setting, he recommends fear setting, moving toward your fears instead of away from them. I found this practice to be incredibly helpful because our minds trick us sometimes. As we have explored on this journey, human beings are more comfortable with the known than the unknown. The reptilian part of our brain looks out for threatening circumstances and keeps us ready to retreat, even if what we are doing means we are moving closer to our dreams. We have to be extra vigilant and with our conscious minds so that we notice a reptilian response that might derail us as we get closer to bringing our desires into reality. So to fear set, you write down your greatest fears and worst case scenarios, as well as your backup plans. Once you write them down, you'll notice that they'll immediately begin to seem less daunting, and often you'll realize right away how irrational they are. You will soon accept there's nothing to be afraid of. Fear setting is a great way to prove to yourself just how often your ego will tell you all the different reasons why something will go wrong when it's just not true. Fear holds us back from taking action because we are afraid of what other people might think. We believe that if we fail, being judged will prevent us from moving forward with our idea. I don't believe that we can be fearless, but we have an amygdala, which is the part of the brain where the response to fear is initiated. And while we need the amygdala because we do need to respond to dangerous stimuli, it's possible for us to ignore the fear response it sends us. We can choose to meet our fears and try to investigate the content behind them. Next time you feel threatened or like you can't do the thing you want, ask yourself why you are afraid. What is the root cause? You will have to distinguish between what is a genuine fear, like the desire to run for your life if there is a revenant bear situation going down, as opposed to fearful content in your mind that's not real, like a perception that others will judge you for launching a business venture and failing. To do this, you will need to become really comfortable with your fear. You've heard that saying, get comfortable in the discomfort. And it really applies here because any type of growth or manifestation process will require you to take risks and move beyond your fears, even if it scares you. Another popular saying is that nothing good comes from your comfort zone. I try to do something that terrifies me each year just so I don't get too comfortable. And I recommend you try it too. If you feel like you're in a rut, do something that is scary as hell to get the juices flowing again. One year I learned how to scuba dive because you really want to know how vast the deep the oceans are. Maybe not, but I felt like a better person after I opened myself up to that knowledge. I've gone skydiving, asked a hot lifeguard if I could sit with him on his lifeguard tower, went skinny dipping in the ocean, did my first Instagram live in 2018, and talked about spirituality, quit my corporate job, think about what makes you stop in your tracks and struggle not to run in the opposite direction and do that thing. You want to manifest from your higher self, not from a wounded ego. I believe that when we make a decision and we have an intention and it is in alignment with our values and serves the greater humanity, the universe unfolds for us and sends us to the right opportunities, people, ideas, and resources to channel the energy from spirit. The ego is the most fearful part of us. It's that voice inside of our heads that tells us that we're not good enough, smart enough, beautiful enough, or skinny enough. When we listen to this little voice, it prevents us from taking action and putting ourselves out there. A huge part of manifestation is deciding and taking the necessary action steps towards our goals. We have free will and we need to match the universe and all the gifts that are in store for us. When we criticize ourselves or we feel rejected, our wounded ego will create stories in our head about who we are. These stories hold us back from moving on. The voice you hear is the conditioned part of you that is fearful and wants to remain small in the name of protection. It sees you as a victim of your circumstances. Love that part of you. Call back the pieces of you that you've lost. Remember that this part of you only knows fear. Our ego is necessary because it protects us, but when we allow it to lead our lives, we operate from a broken place. We have to look outside of ourselves to feel whole and to manifest. So, the exercise for today is fear setting. Write all your fears down on a piece of paper. Which fears are you ready to release? And place this paper on your altar on day 21. The Go Deeper exercise is to do something today that you are afraid of. Ask someone out on a date or open one of those online dating apps. Do an Instagram live. Oh my gosh, the first time I ever did an Instagram live in 2018, which is like kind of when videos were starting to come on to Instagram, I got a huge rash on my chest because I was so nervous because I was talking about spirituality and not in a religious way. And I was like, I felt so exposed and I felt like I was kind of like coming out to my family that I wasn't necessarily Christian anymore, that I was interfaith, interspiritual, and I was talking about concepts like manifestation. Create a video about something you love or swim in the ocean. And yeah, like I mentioned, as I read this day, I always think about the things that I'm afraid of. And I try to get closer to it because the more you ignore it, the more like that's the thing that's probably, that saying, the place between you and your dreams is your fears. And as Michael Jordan said, the quote says that your fears are like an illusion. So what I've noticed about doing things that scare me, like scuba diving, like skydiving, like asking somebody out on a date, it's that it's actually not scary. And the thing that you're actually afraid of is rejection, or you're afraid of like you not meeting up to the expectations of others. That's really what you're afraid of. And like I said yesterday with the shadow work day, that I would bet 99% of you and of us, the work that we need to do is really about self-worth and confidence than anything else. And that's usually what holds us back from, trusting ourselves and trusting our intuition and trusting that we are provided for by the universe. So, like, when you think about your fear, when you do this work today, the fear is like oftentimes the illusion that is, but there's something else there. Do you know what I'm trying to say? Like, the fear is an illusion. It's like that escape room. It's that like funhouse mirror of something that's deeper that you're that's being like hidden underneath. And if you've ever watched Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, it's like the three-headed dog that was guarding the trap door that was where the Sorcerer's Stone was. And it's kind of like that, like the treasure of the Sorcerer's Stone is covered by something that you are afraid of, the three-headed dog. I hope all of my allegories and metaphors are making sense. But this is the most important work is this week. It's looking at your shadow, looking at what you're afraid of, because the things that block us from our manifestation is the resistance. And resistance is our fear, our doubt, our worry, and impatience. Our fear, our doubt, our worry, and impatience. Those are the main resistance points to our manifestation. And once those things are released, the resistance is released. And I'm sure you've heard of this so many times. The manifestation comes in because like I mentioned from the beginning, all realities, all possibilities have already been created, but we can't see it. We can't perceive of it because of our resistance, because we are, and as my teacher Resma Menakem says, respect the protect. We protect ourselves because of past hurt, past wounding, conditioning. And so I'm not saying any of this to be like judgmental or even like, how dare you have these fears? It's that they just don't work for us anymore. Where we want to be, we need to understand like where we've come from, which is why I forget when it is. Maybe it's tomorrow, actually. Yeah, tomorrow is healing the past. In order to heal, we need to know where we came from. And so tomorrow we'll go into that. Because if we don't know where we came from and like what happened, that's all the content that made us feel fearful in the first place. So that's the exercise for today. And yeah, if you missed yesterday, I'm pretty sure I shared my personal full moon in Leo manifestation story. And I really encourage you to share yours in the comments so that we all know that we are like on this journey together and we're manifesting the things. So yeah, I hope you have a beautiful day. And as always, all the links to my one-on-one sessions are down below, links to buy the book, but this is for free. So all that I ask is that you like and you subscribe and share this free journey on YouTube with everybody. Okay, love ya. Bye.